Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating in EASMC's endorsement process. This interview will be recorded and posted to YouTube and to our union website. Please remember to speak up so that your answers can be heard for the camera when you're answering your questions. For the purpose of this interview, educators refers to all staff who work in the schools.
Okay.
I am Mary Ann Tomasic. I'm a career advisor at the Chesapeake Public Charter School, the Virtual Academy, and the Forest Technology Center.
Jennifer Knight, kindergarten paraeducator at George Washington Carver.
I'm Elaine Deems. I'm a special education paraeducator at Leonardtown Middle School.
Alexis Byrne, community school coordinator at Spring Ridge Middle School.
Katrina Mills, Film Service Manager at Spring Ridge Middle School.
Sorry. Can you tell us what are your priorities for the state budget and what, if any, tax changes would you support?
My first priority, honestly, is to get a better understanding of the budget and what everything aligns with, and see if it actually makes sense. Just because it's on the budget doesn't mean that it automatically makes sense. So that would be my first priority. And there was a second part of the question. Could you repeat that?
And what, if any, tax changes would you support?
The tax changes that I would look into supporting would be how the money is allotted to the school system as it relates to home ownership. So a lot of people's property taxes have went up, and I'm not sure that the money is actually funneling into the school system the way that it should be. And if it is, then we shouldn't have the fights that we constantly have with county commissioners.
Thank you.
What experiences or perspectives have shaped your views on public education?
The biggest one is probably my wife. She's been an educator the last 29 years we've been together, from when we were in New York to once we moved here. And she actually was a heavy force in me actually leaving the government and joining the school system and working in the school system, because she voiced that we needed people with my expertise in technology. So I actually left the government, took a huge pay cut, and joined the school system, and was there for right about 5 years. And I was able to essentially change the infrastructure within SMCPS. So it has a huge impact on me.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your position on fully funding Maryland's education commitments under the Blueprint for Maryland's Future?
I fully support funding everything underneath Blueprint as it's currently laid out.
Thank you. If the state faces budget shortfalls, how would you prioritize funding for public education compared to other areas?
Well, I think public education needs to be the first thing, quite honestly. I think that a lot of times it's the last thing and things are cut, like what you're currently dealing with the social workers. So I think it would be ideal to prioritize that, because at the end of the day, the children and what we're teaching them is the most important thing, in my opinion.
What steps would you support to ensure schools serving higher needs populations receive adequate resources?
Could you repeat that again?
What steps would you support to ensure schools serving higher need populations receive adequate resources?
I guess the first thing would be to look at what it is that they need and then prioritize based upon that. So you would, if you're looking at a school like one of the community schools or used to be the Title I schools, and you see that they have special population there, you would allocate the budget to be able to support those programs, because ultimately you're able to, benefit the needs of the kids. Like there's schools like Green Holly and all the programs that they support. So obviously they need more, financial programs there than they may at another school that's on a smaller, level, like Dent, for instance. They're both elementary schools, but they're serving different populations, and they have different programs that are reflective. Excuse me, they're not really performing well. My apologies.
That's okay. How should the state address growing behavioral and mental health needs among students?
I think the best way to address it is to address it head on. Like, there are a lot of students, staff members, everyone that has mental health issues, so I think it needs to be one of the highest priorities, because your mental health affects everything. And I think that they need to be supported in that manner. So that should be number one in my opinion. Because it affects everything, whether it's physical or not, it starts at the mental and it just kind of trickles down.
Thank you.
What role do you see community schools and wraparound services playing in supporting student success?
I think that it kind of goes into the name. So like when you say community schools, it truly is everybody having a part in it in order to benefit the children that are there. So for me, I think that's the key of it.
How should the state measure school success beyond standardized test scores?
That's a good question. I mean, the standardized test scores are good because it gives you a metric to go off of and you can see kind of what has changed. But I think it has to be a mechanism in place to address everybody, because there's some people that are just not good test takers, to where they could be brilliant, but they just have anxiety and can't get through a test. So it has to be something else in place in order to judge how they're doing. So whether that's input from the teachers or the paras that work with them, or if they have IEPs, you know, just seeing if they're meeting their goals across the board. So I think it just needs to be like a collective approach, quite honestly, if you're not relying 100% on the test scores.
Why should educators and school employees trust you to advocate for public education in the Maryland legislature?
I would think primarily because I've actually already done it. So I don't think there's many people that you will have in this hot seat that have actually took a $50,000 pay cut to come to the school system and support the schools. There's not many other people that stood up to the people at Moakley Street when they wanted to give new laptops to teachers and not to counselors, and I actually was the one that was like, no, the counselors should get them as well, and got, you know, a budget line item to provide for that. I also was the person that saved the county probably close to $500,000 with the technology changes I made with swapping them from what they were previously doing, which was paying a company, I cannot remember the name of them, but we paid them to image our computers, and I was able to bring imaging in-house, which, like I said, ended up saving us a huge amount of money. So I think I've already shown and proven what I will do to support the school system on a local level in the school system, and I'll just continue that moving forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Many school systems struggle to recruit and retain education support professionals due to low wages and limited benefits. In addition to the ESP Bill of Rights, what policies would you support to address this issue?
I think the first thing needs to be transparency in the job postings, and I can say that firsthand, that I remember when I applied to the position I was in, I looked at the way it was posted and it had a range. So it said, you know, I don't remember the number, but, you know, X dollar to X dollar. And in the outside world, if you have that range, it normally means that according to your experience, you can fall anywhere in that range. But when I came in IT here, that range means you start at the bottom, and over the next 20, 25 years, you get to the top. And I think that that's something that needs to be more transparent to everyone outside, because I think that you miss out on a lot of people because they don't understand that. And then when they apply and they find that out, when they get that call, they're like, well, no, I don't want to work there. So it's almost like false advertising. So I think that that needs to be more transparent about how the salary scale works. And then I also think that there needs to be a way to recognize the people that are not teachers, but have a vital role in the whole ecosystem. Every person in the system plays a part. So whether you're in DSS, or whether you're in ITS, or whether you're a para, or whether you're a principal, or whatever, everybody plays a part. Everybody has to do their part. And I think that there needs to be a way to recognize everyone in order to essentially be successful.
Thank you.